Yes.
I'd like to call to order the regular meeting of the Warren City Council for February of 26. We all please rise. Join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Mrs. Leary, will you please call the roll?
Ms. Flasher?
Here.
Mrs. Casey? Here. Mr. Cashman?
Present.
Mr. Gilbert is absent. Mr. Champlin?
Here.
Mr. Bilala?
Present.
Mayor Wortman?
Here.
Mr. Kelsey?
Here.
We have a quorum with 6 council members in attendance.
Great. Thank you very much. I thank everybody for taking the time out of their busy schedule to be here with us tonight. In a little bit, we'll do the honors of recognizing an outstanding achievement from some of our young men within the community, but we'll get to that here in a minute. But again, I appreciate everybody taking the time out of their schedule to be with us here at the City Council meeting. And at this time, I'd like to open up the floor to anybody that would like to address the council on an item that is not on tonight's agenda. Yes, sir. Can you please come forward to the podium and state your name? And yeah, if that works for you.
Hello, folks. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Fred Watson. I own the Fred's Pet Shop, formerly Warren Pet Shop, from 85 to 2012. Phil Gilbert's mom, used to work for me when we were here years ago. The problem we're having, that I'm having, that I want to talk about is, and I've raised it with the policemen, and they brought it up that I should come here and bring it to your attention. The parking is atrocious on my avenue on 200 block between 223, or let's say 200 and the bank. I work from 10:30, guys, and I don't know if the lady's here from the flower shop. She feels the same way. I don't know her well, but I know she has the same complaint. The Music Institute is now there. I left for several years and came back. We've been open this coming June 3 years. Store's growing a little bit. I am building it back up just from my Social Security and from other things that I've had from my other store in Olean that I had for 35 years. There's just a constant problem with people parking, and I understand that the Chinese restaurant there, he gets a lot of 10 minutes and 20-minute. We are all very familiar with that. Parking. People come, call, get their orders, and leave. And we get the problem I do have lately in arguments with people about mind your own business. And I tell them, that is my business. You've been sitting here with your car for the last 3.5 hours. I've called the police. Well, they can't see, there's no signs, but there's no meter. We're not supposed to park in an unmetered area. Okay, and I'm open 4 days a week. My store isn't growing too fast, but it's doubled itself from last year. I feel that it's maybe going to at least come up another 25% this year. We're doing pretty good, and people enjoy our store. And we only sell fish. I only work in 4 days, from Wednesday through Saturday till 5:30 on through Friday, and Saturday till 4. And Fridays, the week before Christmas, I had an argument with a man who was driving a brand new Jeep Grand Cherokee with his lovely wife. And they might have been a little older than myself. I'm 71. But the thing is, he told me to mind my own business and to go to hell. Sorry for the words, but the thing is, I really got upset. And with the policemen, I love them. Courageous men and women that do that job, and I feel for them. And also, I bring up all the problems in our country that we have with unruliness and disgrace for what people do to our people who are enforce the law. But the thing is, all I'm asking for is signs on the telephone poles that might say maybe 10-minute parking, 15-minute parking in these loading and unloading spots. An unloading spot is usually with a car with its back opened up and unloading so that the person who just got out, that's generally what most of them tell me. But most of them are having problems with their family and just their job. And it's, I understand what the EOC has bought that building, which is the Faith Inn, it used to be, and then the Eagles Club, which has now been bought by the EOC that we've bought. And we repaired that building. At least now we're on third time where we have our EOC now. It's taken over Jarvis's Cleaners. And I know the people are pretty upset about the whole thing. And the previous owner, how he treated them. But in any case, you know, I just would like it to be addressed, Mr. Mayor. And I just I get very upset, and I understand that the policemen, they say, well, the people and they want to, police want to do what they can to help you get through a problem. And they say, well, they don't know. Maybe they're from out of town. Maybe they didn't know that you shouldn't park here. And I'm like, well, good night. Half of the days that people park is in a crosswalk there. You don't park in a crosswalk. You don't park anywhere in this country in front of a parking meter or not a meter, a fire hydrant. And that's right at the at the crosswalk. And I tell you the truth, sir, we're looking for signs. We have a parking lot at the end of the block on the south side of that avenue on the 200 block that's blocked off by cement pillars. Why doesn't it say parking for Christie's only? Why not it say waiting area for the Chinese restaurant? There's another one on the north side of the east end of the 200 block that's empty. Why don't we suggest that we put some parking there for the students that are learning how to play music? We need to utilize these areas and help the few businesses that are left on my block. There used to be a lot back in the day before the bank took over. But that's my complaint. I'm very upset about it. I wish you would address it. I wish you would think about it. Everybody tells me we've had a lot of complaints about this, but something needs to be done. They said I needed to come here, and it's a pleasure to come. And I just am grateful that you have let me speak here with you tonight about this, because it's a terrible problem for my business, and it is also for my neighbor at Virgin's Flower Shop. She told me that the people that run that music shop park there every day, all day, right in front of her store in 2 parking areas. And it's atrocious. And I don't know what's going on. I just would like for someone to check into it. So thanks for your time, and I appreciate your help. Any encouragement would be appreciated.
Thank you very much for taking the time to address this with us. We will take a look at it at the staff level and make sure that we think through what the
this is
situation
my
is
card,
there.
if you would take it, man.
And
Whoever would like a card that would like to be able to get in touch with me about this, appreciate it. And if you like tropical fish that live, I'm your guy. And we have everything for everything, but not the thing. You're too old, you're too decrepit to continue.
thank you, sir.
Yes, sir, for your time.
Okay, is there anybody else that would like to address council on any issues not on tonight's agenda? Okay, thank you. Agenda item 3, motion to approve tonight's agenda, please. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, vote aye. Aye. All those opposed, vote nay. That passes. Agenda item 4, are there any amendments to tonight's agenda and or a statement for said purpose of that amendment?
Make a motion that we not amend the agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and we have a second. All those in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, vote nay. Okay, we have Meeting minutes from the January 19th regular meeting. Any issues with that, or would anybody like to make a motion that we approve January's meeting minutes?
I will move that we approve the January meeting minutes as presented.
We have a motion and we have a second. Any question, comment, or debate on any of the meeting minutes from January? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor vote aye. Aye. All those opposed vote nay. Okay, that also passes unanimously. Okay, in your board packet, the council packet, we have a number of correspondence for this month. I do think that a number of them are worthy of making mention here at the meeting tonight as they pertain to the federal government. In the case of Senator Fetterman's office last week recently announced a grant award to the city of Warren to invest in one of our great parks, the Point Park refurbishment project. So we're incredibly happy to accept that grant award, and it's going to go a long way to refurbing Point Park, which is the park for those that don't know or remember, that's right across the street, and then down to the point where the Allegheny and the Conowongo meet, but that park that's across from the carpool. So we're very happy to see that, and I want to thank the staff, because every time that there's a grant award, that means that there's a whole bunch of work that's being done at the staff level to prepare that grant application and shepherd it through the process, which many times is quite arduous. So thank you all very much for that. And also, we were notified that the city of Warren received a $300,000 grant from the state of Pennsylvania, DECD, under the Pennsylvania Small Water and Sewer Program, and that is for the rehabilitation of the Indian Hollow flood plain project. So, Mr. Holtz, if you can give just a little bit of detail on the footprint of that and what the importance of that is, I think that would be great.
Yes, the city owns and operates the Indian Hollow floodway project that starts up there above Beaty Street across from the high school, flows down where most people see it at the bottom when it comes out on Beaty Playground. The first leg of it from the top to Beaty Street is lined with concrete walls. Over the years, the walls have started to tip in, and this floodway gets inspected every other year from the DEP, and they have flagged that the walls will need rehab. So we applied for a grant. We were successful. So we can now repair the walls without the general fund. So it worked out well.
Excellent. So again, we want to thank the DECD and the Shapiro administration for that grant funding. And again, on behalf of the council, I'd like to thank the staff for all the hard work that went into that grant application and shepherding that through the process. Additionally, we had received a letter from the Historical Society thanking us for our annual contribution to the Warren County Historical Society and the great work that they continue to do to capture many things in the history of this wonderful this city. And regretfully, we also have a letter from Katie Spiegel, and unfortunately, she is going to resign from the Planning Commission as she's taken a new position with her work and will no longer have the time available to assist on the Planning Commission. So that takes us through the correspondence part of tonight's meeting. And at this point, I would like to do probably well, not probably, but the highlight of tonight's meeting, and that's to recognize some young men from Beaty Middle School in the 8th grade basketball team, which had a phenomenal season. So before we get too far along, we're going to move some chairs out of the way. And what we're going to end up doing is we're going to invite all the young men, the players, up for a certificate. But first, I'd like to invite Coach Onufer up talk a little bit about the team. If you want to do it up here, that would be great. And I see a lot of parents that are with us tonight. So if you want to kind of move up, if you want to grab a couple photos as your son,
Not at me. Yeah.
comes up, I think that would be great. And then at the end, we'll have an opportunity to take a team photo as well. But before I turn it over to Coach Onufer, I just think what we try to recognize to the extent that we can excellence within our community with our young men and women. And it's a great honor and a privilege to recognize the excellence that we saw this year with the 8th grade basketball team. I think it's been a long time since we had an undefeated league champion team at the basketball and at Beaty. We all know that you put together a team or a season like that, what that really means is that for multiple years, I'm guessing that these young men have played together on again, off again, basketball, baseball, or whatever sports that they're playing in. They learn the game itself, but they learn more importantly what it means to have a team and to play like a team and the teamwork that's needed to accomplish something like that. And I think that is incredible, and it's something that we want to commend each and every time that we see it. And I also know that to be on that team and to be able to compete each and every week, multiple games per, during that week, that there's a lot of people that are looking at your grades. And first and foremost, that is the most important thing that you are doing while you are a student, making sure that you take the time and the effort to pay attention to your studies, do the very best that you can, not only on the court, but in the classroom. And for that, I want to commend you as well. With that, I'm going to turn the floor over to Coach Onufer that I hope is going to talk a little bit more about the team and about the game and about the season.
Absolutely. First of all, I'll give you a brief background of my coaching career. My name is Steve Onufer. I coached at every level for basketball. I was a JV coach at Eisenhower. I was a head varsity coach at Eisenhower. And then I started out, I took a little brief time off because I was getting some backlash from my wife at the time about spending more time with other people's kids than my own. And that was fair. So I took some time off, but then I came back, and I believe it was with my son and Mayor Orban's son at the same time is when I came back into Beaty. And I've been there probably 16, 17 years. And with this group of kids, they might be one of the most talented groups that I've ever coached. To have an undefeated season, it takes a lot. Like, you're playing teams not only twice, good teams, but even in the championship game, we had to play a team 3 times. To beat a team twice, good teams twice, is a tall task. And to win one, to beat them 3 times for a championship game is a huge task. They came to practice and they worked hard. We've had some battles back and forth at practice, but for the most part, just absolutely great kids to work with. So proud of them. Proud to be a coach and watch them for the next 4 years at the high school level. I may at some point probably give this up, but yeah, I've been doing it for a long time. And again, one of the most talented groups I've ever coached. And it's just, the game goes to them. The recognition goes to them, because to win every night with the bullseye on your back, and I told them, especially down the stretch, that every team, no matter how good they are or how bad they are, you're the bullseye. They want to take out the number 1 team. They want to win against you. So you're going to see the best every night. And it's hard because these kids have up games and they have down games. But in their down games, they found ways to eke out wins, even when they probably couldn't have. But they turned the switch on and they still found a way to win some of those tight games against teams that I thought we could have beat by more. But that's, I guess, my expectations is always high. But yeah, all the recognition goes to these young men, and I absolutely look forward to watching them for the next 4 years as they mature and grow into the young men that I know that they are at this point in their careers. It'll be fun to watch, and I suggest that you guys get out there. If you haven't gone to basketball games, watch these kids. They're fun to watch.
So with that, we have a certificate for all the kids, also for Coach Onufer. Just want to read it to you. It just says, it is with great pride that the Warren City Council recognizes Coach Steve O'Newfer, the Beaty Warren Middle School 8th grade boys basketball team. The junior high French Creek Valley Athletic Conference undefeated champions with a record of 21-0. And at the top, it says, champions don't become champions when they win an event, but in the hours, weeks, months, and years they spend preparing for it. And that's a quote from probably the greatest basketball player ever, Michael Jordan. So with that, thank you, Coach. See that? So if you'd like to come up when I call your name, that'd be great. Ty Bryan. Congratulations, Ty. Owen Damcott. Congratulations. Thank you. Aiden Ellis. Congratulations, Aiden. Anthony Giambaluca. Sure. Clayton Hammerbeck.
Not here.
Good. Parker Laufenberger. Congratulations, Parker. Thank you. Carter McDonald. Congratulations, brother. Blake Peterson. Congratulations, Blake. Chase Rao.
Not here. Not here.
Okay. Dane Richards. Congratulations, Dane. Egan Weisinger.
I like Dave, but.
Congratulations, Keegan. So, parents, if you'd like to come up and take a picture of the team, that'd be great. And I'm gonna get that over here.
Just watch their course. Sign it up.
No. 1, 2, 3.
Wow, dude.
Smile.
No. Gonna get one for the paper quick if that's okay. Thank you.
All right, congratulations. You got this. Good job, guys. There is no expectation that you stick around for the business part of the meeting, so have a great night, everybody.
You can tell they're so good because they're so bonded.
They said 20 games or 21?
21.
21.
Thank you. Congratulations again.
Thanks, Brad.
I didn't want.
Yeah. Okay, moving on to agenda item 8. We have a guest presenter tonight. Mrs. Kelsey Howard from CASA is here with us tonight to talk a little bit about her programs and CASA, and wouldn't mind is that a good place for you to be?
This is where you want me, wherever you want me. I can.
Well, I was just thinking if you're going to do a PowerPoint, because it's going to be to your back. If you want to be over there so you can see a little better, that'd be fine too. Thanks for being here with us tonight.
Thank you for having me. It's hard to outshine those boys, though.
There you go.
Thank you. All right, so I'm here to talk about my program, CASA, of Warren and Forest counties. CASA is court-appointed special advocates for children, and we are giving a voice to children in the juvenile protection system, and hopefully to give them safety and permanency in the courts. And then a little about me, so you know who I am standing up here speaking. I am the executive director for CASA. I actually started in December of 2025. I just recently took the position. I graduated from Warren High School in 2016. I previously was the Decision Support Center coordinator at Beacon Light from 2023 to 2025. And in 2023, I started my CASA journey becoming a volunteer first. And then those are my kids and my dog. And in my free time, I like to coach. I coach the 3rd and 4th grade cheerleading team for the WCYC. And then I like to coach soccer, even though I really have no idea what I'm doing. It's more about wrangling children. And then a little about our impact on the community. We serve some of the most vulnerable members in our community, children who have been removed from their homes, to ensure their safety. Our dedicated CASA volunteers stand as voices for the children, advocating for their best interests in court, helping secure safe, nurturing homes where they can thrive, whether that's through family reunification or adoption. We're always trying to provide these children with the stability and care that they need to succeed. We currently have 10 CASA volunteers, and we are serving 15 children, but we currently have 4 children that are not assigned a volunteer. So even with the 10 volunteers we have, we still have a need for more. And then from our fiscal year of 24-25, our impact snapshot is we had a 100% rate of permanency for children. We had an increase in rate of volunteer retention by 28%. We went from 67 new children served to 84. We got 2 new volunteers trained and sworn in, and our rate of children served by CASA volunteers went up by 37%. And we still have tons of room to grow, even with those increase in numbers. And who are court-appointed special advocates? They are also referred to as CASA volunteers. They are trained citizens. They have to be 21 years or older. They are appointed by the judge to represent the best interest of the child in court. We serve as kind of a friend of the courts. We aren't partnered with anybody. We are just there for the child. So even if there's something that CYS agrees with and we don't, we still advocate for what we think is best. And then each individual completes a thorough screening process, the initial training, and then sworn in by the judge as official CASAs. The CASA volunteer is assigned only 1 child or sibling group at a time, an average of 1 to 2 cases, so they have more time to research each child's individual needs. A CASA volunteer does not replace a caseworker on the case. They are an independent appointee of the court and can examine each child case in depth. CASA volunteers remain committed to their assigned case until it's permanently resolved or when the child is deemed to be safe and dependency is terminated, which can last anywhere from 18 months to 2 years. We currently have kids that we've been serving for, I think, 6 years. And those children are usually the ones that are aging out that never got adopted or found permanency. And then how having CASA helps the child. For the child, the CASA volunteer is a consistent person in their life, someone who takes an interest not because they're paid to, but because they want to help the child. Our volunteers support in a lot of ways, rooting for the well-being of the child in their case, celebrating successes, and overcoming all of the obstacles together. Our CASAs work alongside system professionals to ensure children remain in a safe, supportive, and permanent home where they can thrive and grow. Children assigned a CASA volunteer have significantly higher levels of hope, leading to academic success, overall well-being, increases in self-control, and positive social relationships. So hopefully they can be a part of the community and be outstanding citizens that we hope to be. And children with CASA volunteers have significantly less placements and are less likely to re-enter the child welfare system than a child without a CASA volunteer. And why CASAs are needed. Judges value our advocates through investigative work, which sheds light on child circumstances while in the system. Our volunteers often are referred to an extra set of eyes and ears for the courts. Our system professionals value our advocates' roles because we act as liaisons, bridging service providers, and ensuring everyone is on the same page. Our volunteers also prove to be invaluable resource for information about the child and the family. We can go into the homes, we visit with them once a month. We really get to know the children on more of a personal level versus how a CYS caseworker would get to know them or the family. And we're just a friend. We're there to support them and just be by their side until they find what they need. And then here's just a little snapshot of what CASA volunteers do and how their best interests of children who have experienced abuse or neglect. We learn about the case. We can go into the homes, like I said. We get to know any family ties. Anybody that is in that child's life, we can get to know and learn about. We can engage with the child. We can go to their sporting events. We can do anything that they want us to. We recommend what is in their best interest to the court. We have one child who specifically requests Reese's cups, and he wants us to put it in the report, so that's what we do. And we collaborate with absolutely everybody on the team to make sure they get what they need. And then we just make a report and we submit it to the courts. And then our vision for the future, we hope to recruit 2 to 5 CASA volunteers this year, strengthen community partnerships, educate our community about CASA's impact, and come out from our umbrella organization. We are currently under Jefferson DeFreeze as our umbrella, and we are hoping to come out from that to hopefully grow and get bigger and get more community engagement. I think a lot of people, they don't really know what CASA is. You can ask 1 in 5 people would say that they know, and the rest of them have no clue what CASA is. And always, we're continuing to give voice to the abused children within the court system and hopefully be a local leader in advocacy by recruiting more volunteers so we can serve more children. And then that is it. In ways that you can help, you can volunteer, you can donate, you can be an advocate for CASA, sharing anything on Facebook, just spreading the word and information that I hope that I left you guys with. But other than that, that is it.
Thank you very much.
Any questions?
Yeah, I do, and then I'm going to turn it over to, I think there's probably some others, but just at a high level without going into the fine details of the exact amount, where does the support for CASA come from? Meaning financial primarily, but other ways that you're.
So we currently get 1 state grant. That is the only state funded thing that we get. And then everything else is from the community, from local, like the community foundation helps us out a lot. And then just any other local grants that we're given the opportunity to apply for, we do. But other than that, it's just community donations. We honestly have a very low budget compared to most other organizations. I'm the only paid staff. So most of that budget goes to my salary, but I really don't make that much, and I'd be willing to say what I make just to give that idea of what we have. But honestly, a lot of our income just goes to running the organization and hopefully getting more volunteers in.
And I guess one other question, the physical location of your office, or?
We are in Jefferson DeFreeze.
Okay.
Mhm.
Danielle?
What is the process to become a volunteer? If someone was interested, would they just reach out to you and would you like talk us through?
Yeah. So we have a website right now. It is not updated with my information because I'm waiting on PA CASA to update it. But if you go on the website, there's always the Start Your Journey logos. If you click on those, that prompts the thing to fill everything out. You put your information in, and then that comes to me. And then after that, you have an interview if you're still interested. And then after that, you have to pass all the background checks, things like that. And then you have to complete the initial training, which is 32 hours spread out over time for the initial training. And then you're sworn in by the judge. And after that, you just have to complete 12 hours a year of continued education.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty simple and easy. It's an easy process.
And anybody can do it. There's not like there's not an extra qualification that.
Nope, you just have to be 21.
Thank you.
Of course.
Kelsey, you mentioned that you have 3 children that do not have what I would call an advocate.
Mm-hmm.
What happens to those children?
Those children just kind of sit and wait for us to assign a volunteer. I can always take them on myself. But that if I were to do that, it would spread me very, very thin. And since I just took this position, I don't want to do that to myself. And it's also not fair to the other volunteers. The other volunteers can also take them on if they would like to. The volunteers can take more than one case if they're willing to. I don't like to do it because they're volunteers. They're not being paid. They have full-time jobs and they're doing everything else on top of the volunteer work. So if we don't have a volunteer, they just kind of sit and wait for us to be assigned. We still follow the case. We still go to the hearings and make sure they're doing okay and things like that. But other than that, they just kind of get the process going without us.
Do the children live in their domiciles with their parent or parents?
Not usually. Every case that we usually get is a dependency case. So that means CYS has already taken legal custody of them. So they're either placed in a home, whether it be a placement home or a foster home, or it could also be a kinship home, which is somebody that they already have a connection with, like a family member or a cousin or a best friend that wants to take them in, things like that.
And so what are the activities that the volunteers do with the children?
Anything. We can do anything. Coloring, we can go on walks, we can go to their sporting events, we can hang out at home. Anything that they want to do, we can do with them.
Good work.
Thank you.
Any additional questions? I would just like to finish up, I guess, with just a comment. Really appreciate the work that you're doing and all the volunteers.
Thank you.
It's commendable, and I think it takes a special person to be able to walk into a difficult situation, try to make life better for somebody else that's in a really tough spot.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for that work and everything that you're doing on behalf of these children that need help. And
Yeah.
Thank you so much for doing
Thank
that.
you. I appreciate it. I don't need thanks. I just want them to do good, but thank you. I appreciate it.
And if there are things, and I know that there's connections, with I see Chief Sproberry and within the community here at the city, please reach out if there's any
Thank
way
you.
that we can assist or continue to assist in your mission to
Thank
help
you.
these young
I
men and
appreciate
women.
that. Thank you.
Please don't hesitate to ask.
Awesome. Thank you.
What are the approximate ages of most of your clients?
We actually have right now from, I think, 6 months to almost 18. So the whole range. Yeah.
Any final questions? Thanks again, Kelsey.
Thank you. And I have business cards for anybody that would like one, or anything like that.
Would you mind just giving a couple
Yes,
to
of course.
Tina?
Yeah.
And then we can snag them after
Thank you.
the
I
meeting.
appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, let's move on to the business section of tonight's meeting. So agenda item 9A. Proposed resolution approving the Boger minor subdivision. Mr. Rossi, please.
Paul L. and Vivian M. Boger filed a minor subdivision application for their property located at 406 Market Street. Minor subdivision would divide the existing Boger property into two lots. Lot 1, consisting of 3,006.8 square feet, to be annexed to 408 Market Street. LLC property, parcel number 576-423300. City Planning Commission and the Warren County Planning and Zoning staff reviewed the minor subdivision application. Both recommended that it be approved by City Council. Action requested council consideration and motion regarding the proposed resolution approving the Boger minor subdivision.
Thank you very much. I guess I'm going to do a blanket question. If there's anybody that's, well, there's nobody in the audience here, but if anybody on the dial-in Teams meeting that would like to address any of the agenda items for tonight's business. Okay, hearing none there, we'll turn this over to the floor. Would anybody like to take any kind of action on this agenda item?
Make a motion, we approve as submitted.
I had one question.
We have a motion, a second. Did I hear a second? Okay, Mr. Champlin, please.
Yep, my question, I thought the property went into two lots, but then it says we're going to make it one property for tax purposes. It says lot 1 and the other one are here be considered annexed and treated as one solitary parcel for tax purposes. And the party here too for themselves. So is it going to be, when we're all done, is it one tax entity or two properties?
You'll have two tax entities, but the lot 1 that is being annexed to 408, I believe, will be part of that taxing body.
Okay. I'm just a little confused. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Okay, we have a motion. We have a second. Mrs. Leary, will you please call the roll?
Flasher,
Yes.
Mrs. Casey.
Yes.
Mr. Cashman,
Yes.
Mr. Gilbert is absent, Mr. Champlin,
Yes.
Mr. Valella,
Yes.
Mayor Wortman,
Yes.
motion carries unanimously.
Great, thank you very much. Agenda item 9B, proposed transfer of property to the Redevelopment Authority. Again, Mr. Rossi, please.
Thank you, Mayor. As council is aware, there are a number of sewer accounts which are in the arrears for substantial amount. City continues to pursue collections. However, there are accounts for which it has been evident that the property owner has no intentions of making payment. The structure previously located on the property located at 1311.5 Sill Street burned, and the owner walked away from the property with the sewer charges remaining in arrears. Therefore, the city purchased the property during the September 18th, 2025 sheriff's sale. It is suggested that this property be transferred to the City Redevelopment Authority. This recommendation is made as the RDA is in the best position to negotiate terms of the sale and/or agreements related to the redevelopment of the property. Action requested council's consideration and motion to transfer the property at 1311.5 Sill Street to the Redevelopment Authority, and require that upon any sale of the property by the RDA, that the amount received is to be remitted to the city be applied to past due sewage charges. One, proposed deed, map indicating property location in a photo.
Thank you very much. Again, I'll turn it over to the floor for any action or questions.
Make a motion, we approve as submitted.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. Any questions, comment, or debate? Mr. Cashman, please.
What was the arrearage on the sewer bill?
Almost 10,000,
What was it?
almost 10,000.
Okay.
Is there additional questions? Savannah?
No,
Okay. Jared, did you have a question?
I had the same question.
Okay. I have just a curiosity question. I went on to Google Maps to try to figure, how do you access that property from Sill Street or because?
If you look at that map, when the house existed, there is a small right of way, which is consists about the width of a sidewalk.
Okay,
The rest of the property is landlocked.
yeah. So the right of way is merely, I mean, there's not any vehicle access to
No.
that property or, okay. So redevelopment authority in terms of possible opportunities to market it or find a new home or a new owner for it. There's only a
Adjoining
few.
properties may,
Great.
yes.
Okay. And just out of curiosity, how much did we purchase the property for? City. Ballpark.
Which was, Andrea can answer that.
$3,075.57.
Okay. Any, Danielle?
So the RDA has it. Are you going to try to work with the surrounding neighbors to like parse it out so it's no longer on the city's
Yes,
property, whatever we call it, role?
when the RDA takes possession of it, yes, they will probably be in contact with several of the neighbors that might have interest in that property, seeing it's landlocked.
City staff will go out and try to make sure it goes the right.
Oh, I believe it.
Because we don't want to mow it.
I understand. You know, if you on my and I just have to say thank you for using this picture and reminding us that there is life coming and that there are leaves going to be on the tree soon. We need to touch grass again, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, are we going to have, before we can parse it out to the neighbors, the aerial photograph look like there's a burned out building there? Is there going to be some, or it's all black, maybe that's just shadow?
That's just a shadow. No, the property's actually been completely reclaimed.
Oh, okay.
The burned house has been demoed.
Okay, that should make it relatively easy for the RDA.
Okay. Any further questions, comment, or debate on this issue? Okay, Mrs. Leary, will you please call the roll?
Ms. Flasher,
Yes.
Mrs. Casey. Yes. Mr. Cashman,
Yes.
Mr. Gilbert is absent, Mr. Champlin.
Yes,
Palella,
Yes.
Mayor Wortman,
Yes.
motion carries unanimously.
Great, thank you. Agenda item 9C, bid award, fire department restroom and dormitory renovation project. Chief Krogler, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Sealed bids for the fire department restroom and dormitory renovation project were opened by the city on February 4th, 2026. The project will modernize existing facilities and support a more diverse workforce by converting the fire station's current shower, wash, and toilet rooms into 3 fully self-contained ADA accessible restrooms, each equipped with a shower. The project also includes renovations to the dormitory area, extending partition walls to the ceiling and adding doors to individual sleeping quarters to improve privacy and functionality. The lowest apparent bidder is Constantine Bible and Company with a bid amount of $289,000. Funding for this project is provided through 2 Pennsylvania Office of the State Fire Commissioner Municipal Fire Department capital grants totaling $165,431. The remaining project costs are included in the city's 2026 capital improvement projects budget. Action requested is council's consideration and motion regarding award of the fire department restroom and dormitory renovation project to Constantine Beagle and Company in the amount of $289,000. And enclosed the bid tabulation sheet.
Thank you very much. We'll turn it over to the floor for any action or questions or comments. Mr. Villela?
I would move that we approve the motion regarding the award of fire department restroom dormitory renovation project to Considine Beeble and Company in the amount of 200.
Okay, we have a motion and we have a second. Any questions or comments, debate on this?
Just one question. Have you used this company before for anything? Any other projects over the?
My question.
I would have to revert that to the manager.
Have we used it
Yeah,
before?
the city has used has this company twice. One of the two times was one of the major renovations to this building, and they did an exceptional job. It's Constantine Bible.
Okay, any additional questions? I would like to note also that, I mean, this is kind of the trifecta, I guess, for tonight, to talk about grants, but Chief Krogler and others went out and did a lot of work to research and apply for a grant that's largely paying for this project. It's fantastic in terms of, 165 of the $289,000 total of the project is realized through grant funding. So thank you very much for all the hard work and effort to secure those funds as well. So, okay, Mrs. Leary, will you please call the roll?
Ms. Fleischer?
Yes.
Mrs. Casey?
Yes.
Mr. Cashman?
Yes.
Mr. Gilbert is absent. Mr. Champlin?
Yes.
Mr. Villela?
Yes.
Mayor Wortman?
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you. Okay, agenda item 9C2. The nuance there. State contract, the anti-skid purchasing. Mr. Holtz, please.
Yes, and in order to secure the best possible pricing, the city participates in the state contract for the purchasing of anti-skid. The current supplier's contract will expire on March 3rd, 31st of this year. Therefore, in accordance with the state program's requirements, the city submitted a request for quote to all of the approved supply companies servicing Warren County. It should be noted that the guidelines required the city to accept the lowest quote or reject all quotes. The quotes were opened on February 10th, with the lowest quote being in the amount of $17.43 a ton for an estimated total of $26,145 from Gleno Hawbaker of State College. The amount of anti-skid on the quote is 1,500 tons. The city is not obligated to purchase that amount of anti-skid. The amount of anti-skid is the average of tons used by the city in each year. Action requested is consideration motion to accept the quote from Gleno Hawbaker for the purchase of anti-skid material. Also enclosed is the bid opening tab sheet. Anybody have any questions concerning that?
No, just in general, because that's new here. So as you need it, I mean, you're not going to ask them to deliver 1,500 tons in advance, or?
No.
We
usually throughout the winter time, we usually make requests between 300 and 400 tons, and then they deliver that much. And then as those go down, then we order more. So we never order that much material in one time. And for when the folks salt the roads, the salt is always mixed with skid. It's always a mixture of salt and skid. We don't run pure salt.
Or pure skid.
Or pure skid. It's always a combination.
Okay. Okay, good to know.
Any additional questions?
What was the, you have a quote of $17.43 a ton. Do you remember what it was last year?
$17.33.
That's like
Yeah. I can't take credit for that.
Normally, how much, well, in a normal way.
Yeah, this winter's been interesting to say the least. We usually use around 11 or 1200 tons a year. 1500 is, we haven't even reached that in this winter season, so. As one know, the last 5 years we've had IA construction, so it will be, we will have a change in vendors, so it'll be interesting. I'm sure they'll do it.
Yeah, they're a good company, very reputable. Okay. Anybody want to make a motion in a second?
I will move that we accept this quote from the Baker Company for the purchase of anti-skid material.
Second.
Do we have a motion? We have a second. Any further question, comment, or debate? Mrs. Leary, will you please call the roll?
Ms. Foster?
Yes.
Mrs. Casey?
Yes.
Cashman?
Yes.
Mr. Gilbert is absent. Mr. Champlin?
Yes.
Lala?
Yeah.
Mayor Workman?
Yes.
Motion carried unanimously.
Great, thank you. Agenda item 9D, proposed resolution, county liquids fuels allocation application. Mr. Holtz, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Each year it is necessary for council by resolution to apply for the county liquid fuels tax allocation. This year's allocation for 2026 has been estimated at $12,016. These monies are used to reimburse the general fund for salt purchases for snow and ice control. Action requested is council's consideration and motion regarding the resolution authorizing the 2026 county liquid fuels allocation application. Encloses the resolution for your review. Anybody have any questions regarding that?
Thank you.
Make a motion, we approve it. Second.
Do we have a motion? We have a second. Any questions, comment, or debate? Mrs. Leary, please call the roll.
Ms. Foster?
Yes.
Mrs. Casey?
Yes.
Mr. Cashman?
Yes.
Mr. Gilbert is absent. Mr. Champlin?
Yes.
Mr. Lala?
Yes.
Mayor Workman?
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
Great, thank you. That brings us to agenda item 9E, Pennsylvania Sunshine Act update. Mrs. Stapleford, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. In November of 2025, the Pennsylvania Supreme Court ruled in the case of Coleman versus Parkland School District on a matter pertaining specifically to the Sunshine Act and the requirements about the agenda and amending the agenda. As a result of that case, there are 4 separate and distinct exceptions to the requirement that the agenda be published 24 hours in advance and that it not be amended. One of those exceptions is emergency business, and that has to be a real or potential emergency regarding clear and present danger to life or property. So that's going to be a fact-sensitive, basically judgment call. The second is business arising within 24 hours of a meeting. That matter has to arise or be brought to the agency's attention within 24 hours and be de minimis and not involve the expenditure of any funds or entering into a contract. So that specific exemption falls in that de minimis requirement and the financial restrictions. And it has to be both of those. The third exception is business arising during a meeting. The agency may take action to refer a matter to staff. If something comes up, for example, about the parking. Council could take action to refer that to staff if that was appropriate. Or if something arises during a meeting that again is de minimis and does not involve the expenditure of funds or entering into a contract, then the agenda can be amended. The fourth is what the case was about and establishes that changes to an agenda may be made upon majority vote of those present and voting, and the agenda may be added to, or the matter may be added to the agenda and official action can be taken. So there has to be a separate vote. If it's something that just comes up in front of council, there has to be a separate vote taken and majority decision by those present and voting to amend the agenda and add that item to the agenda. The reason for the change has to be announced at the meeting before the vote is taken. And then on this particular exception, and only this particular exception, the agenda must be posted no later than the first business day following the meeting. So if the agenda had been amended tonight for that particular reason, an amended agenda would have to be posted tomorrow. So there's some nuances with each one of those, but the court was very specific and saying that acknowledge that there's no emergency needed, does not have to be de minimis, does not have to not involve finances, but the protections that the court felt are applicable are the separate vote. So it's not just somebody saying, I make a motion that we amend the agenda. It's got to be a specific vote on this type of matter. The reason for the change has to be announced. The vote to amend must be successful before taking official action. The amended agenda must be posted, and this is the only exception requiring that the amended agenda be posted. Under all four of the exceptions, the meeting minutes are to reflect the substance of the matter added and the reason for the change. So there are four distinct exceptions to the 24-hour agenda rule. And this one in particular does not have anything to do with finances or being de minimis or an emergency or anything.
What does it have to do?
Be anything.
If I want to spend $1 million, and I bring it up, we can put it on the agenda, but we have to have another meeting thereafter.
No, there just has to be a vote. Council has to vote to amend the agenda to add that item. If council doesn't vote to add the item to the agenda, it can't be added. It could always be put on the next month's meeting, but it cannot be added to that particular meeting. This is the only one of the exceptions that requires council's vote.
But it also does not require a de minimis criteria.
Correct.
By this example, the $1 million item, we all say, let's consider it. And then it's there and we vote on it and $1 million is spent. Okay.
So going back to the other three items in that. So I want to amend the agenda, something that's not de minimis. We have to vote to amend the agenda, right?
If it's not de minimis, if it's not de minimis or not an emergency.
So if it is de minimis, it will be added.
It depends. If it arises within 24 hours of the meeting, it has to be de minimis, no expenditure of funds or entering into a contract, and it arose or brought to the agency's attention or the city's attention within 24 hours. If it came up during the meeting, either we can make a motion to refer it to staff for further action, or it can be added if it's de minimis and does not involve the expenditure of funds or entering into a contract. So it's very fact specific.
So practically speaking, because the city manager and the mayor's position set the agenda. So if it's within 24 hours, if it meets one of the three criteria or the three categories, Mr. Holtz could amend the agenda and bring it to the council without it having been published 24 hours prior. Is that a fair statement? If it meets the de minimis requirements and et cetera, and there is no vote.
If it's within 24 hours of the meeting?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And then during a meeting, if something were to come up and brought to the floor, the example Mr. Cashman is using, wants to spend $1 million for a certain thing, it would be brought to the floor, we would vote on it, and then that could still be added to the agenda and we could vote on that.
Be two steps, right? We vote.
2 steps.
We vote to consider it
on the agenda, and
then we
vote
either
to take
approve it
action
not.
or not.
Got it.
But we could do that in theory that same night. And okay. So we don't have to follow those rules.
No, it'd be great if we could continue to operate as we have for a
Yes.
very long time.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that we understand that
Yeah.
because there's a lot of conversation within the community, and I would say probably statewide about those changes because those are very significant. And I'm not proposing in any way that we change the way we're operating. Don't get me wrong. I'm just asking questions to understand what it means from a practical standpoint.
Let's not spend $1 million.
No.
Also, me, you say, let's stay within, but what that says is that's council's prerogative to do that. And you can't remove that prerogative.
Exactly. And the protections for the public are, because this is all about transparency and all about everybody knowing what's happening. The protections for the public gives council the flexibility, protects the public in that we have to take that additional vote, and then the amended agenda has to be.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions of Mrs. Stapleford on sunshine law updates? Okay, let's move on to committee updates. Mr. Rossi, would you like to go ahead with the comprehensive plan task force?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. In your packet were minutes from the February 10th Comprehensive Plan Task Force. I have a couple of updates to add to that. Under the downtown business group, they had met last week after the comprehensive task force meeting, and they're in the process of setting up plans for their second annual shop pop, which will run from March 15th through April 5th. And this is similar to what they did last year in conjunction with the Easter holiday season. They will be asking businesses to participate and asking people to visit the shops that are participating. They'll get a punch card, and if they complete all of the visits to these shops, then they are eligible for prizes. Also, I'm happy to announce that the wayfinding signs and kiosks are in production, and a group from the task force will be making a trip on March 6th to the Advanced Sign Company in Pittsburgh to view the production of our material and also take a tour of their facility.
Nice.
And one other item, I'm happy to announce also that we have secured all 3 rivers that we need to have the downtown Rib Fest on June 25th through the 27th.
Outstanding.
That's my birthday weekend.
Oh, they did it for that.
Thank you.
It was supposed to be a surprise though.
Oh. I've been a vegetarian for 15 years, so.
That's all.
That's great news.
Where is Rib Fest going to be? Is it going to be in the downtown area?
The Rib Fest, yes, it'll be on Liberty Street.
Excellent. Any questions on the comprehensive plan task force update? Okay, thank you. Council of Governments.
Our last meeting was kind of a heavier one, but Lisa with the Visitors Bureau is getting the visitors guide out. It's in production right now, and we should start seeing that. That guide has a lot of really great information in it, as we all know, of the goings on, restaurants, basically everything you need to know about Warren County and where to go to find the haps. There was a little bit of an update from Warren Works talking about the blog, the website, and the brand use kit. They are working on municipal specific logos for each of the 27 municipalities and mini grants as well. I don't know, Savannah, if you want to elaborate any, but it was like a high overview report.
I could talk about mini grants later.
Okay, perfect. And then the COG secretary meeting is happening this month. That happens every quarter, and those are just all municipal secretaries throughout the county meet and go over some really great information. So we should get an update on that next month and how that went. And then the bulk of the meeting, pretty much all of the meeting, was about EMS statuses. So David Basnak, the Emergent Care CEO, did a presentation on just basically the state of EMS, both regionally and statewide, and the role that emergency care plays in the county, both as a provider and as a supplemental provider. Anthony Martin he's an EMS compact commissioner, was present, and Daryl Parker with MCO West was also there. And we basically talked for several hours, both through that presentation and as a group, and talked about just the state of EMS and that there is no cavalry coming to save us, that it is a local issue, and that the solution to the crisis that we face is unfortunately a local one. And so I know the COG talks quite significantly about the EMS. And I know that Paul Pascuzzi and Rich Bear are continuously working on what will work, what could work. But that was basically it. It was just more informational and kind of like a Q&A back and forth. There's quite a few people present, and I know Savannah, you were there. And so I don't know if you want to elaborate any further on that, but that was basically it. That was
a lengthy conversation, that's for sure.
Very much.
Rightfully so. And the crisis that we face for our EMS is definitely countywide and regional and statewide. So, but looking at the locals for the support. So,
Other than getting more volunteers, what was the potential solutions? You said there were a number of areas that you.
Yeah, so they've looked at like EMS authorities, for example. So East Forest has done one, and there's been some discussions over that. I think that it's been a lot of idea generation and a lot less like we're going to try this and see if it works. But I think that we're getting to a point where we have to try something probably. They've talked about EMS authorities. They've talked about LST taxes for local service taxes. It's a great question that really is in the process of being answered. I don't know if you have anything to add, or Chief, if you have anything to add.
Just the EMS crisis is alive and well, but for the sake of the city residents, it isn't such a crisis because we have a paid professional fire department as opposed to the other ones that have a volunteer. So from the city standpoint, it's not such a crisis. But as we all know, the crisis in the township does affect the city because we tend to respond when we all know these issues. So, but we're working on them, and Keith and I are really aware of them. So people like that, I know you have.
Just so we continue to work, with Rich and Paul and the Messick group, and trying to come up with viable solutions.
More to come on that.
Yeah. The working problem.
Okay, any questions on the Council of Governments update?
maybe just a question for Chief, if you had any more additional information, and Danny, I don't know if you want to jump into, but I had heard that Emergent Care was attempting to purchase like these warming incubators for babies in their ambulances, and I don't know if you had any additional information about that. I heard that they weren't successful in their initial ask for, I think it was like $15,000.
It's still, as far as I know, it's still ongoing. I know that Ken McCorson, we had a county EMS council meeting, I think it was last week. And Ken McCorson, who's the county Department of Public Safety director, took some notes and was going to be meeting with a couple possible funding avenues to get more, funding for those. Most of that comes to light with the hospital closing the maternity ward and the potential of having to do a longer transport on a neonate basis.
And I heard they unfortunately had one instance already where they had to do like a transfer from someone that.
Yeah, they've had a couple. We had one in town where we had to take over, a mother that was, in labor, and then they ended up transferring. I believe that one they went to Jamestown for.
And to that same point, I thought there were some very interesting facts that came out of Emergent Care's presentation, in that in those instances, if the delivery happens before the ambulance, they then need 2 ambulances because they become 2 patients. And if there's twins, it becomes 3. And so obviously this is a new development. So it's still kind of like working through it as it goes. But I did see an interesting statistic that in 2010, David said that to buy a stretcher for the ambulance is about 12 to 13,000, and now they're about 35,000 for that same stretcher with the same mechanics. And now they're looking at the self-lift stretchers that are around like $65-ish thousand to help kind of reduce back issues on paramedics. And it's just this for an ambulance cost with advanced life-saving build out is $364,622.87. And it is a privatized industry, therefore there is no regulation on how much they can charge. They just know that everyone needs it, so they can charge whatever they see fit. So for almost $500,000 is what a bus would cost. Their term, bus, press. And so I just find that it's incredulous, I think, where we're kind of in a position where we have to, then there's regulations on how frequently you have to update the buses and how frequently they have to be replaced and how well these things have to work. And I think to answer your question, that's also part of the stress. It's just the overhead cost to have units in service. And that's a whole other beast aside from manpower. So that was basically it. It was a very heavy meeting, and I felt like I had a lot of questions. We as a city are very lucky, and I'm very glad you made that point. That as city residents and as having a paid agency, we are incredibly blessed and lucky to be able to say that we have that. But 26 of our municipalities don't get to say that in Warren County. So just keeping an eye on it. And if you have any ideas, I'm sure they'd love to hear it.
Okay, any questions on COG? All right, Riverfront Development. I know that the last meeting we talked about developing and setting schedules for next public engagements. We are talking with firms that are looking at professional renderings and depictions of that riverfront. Don't have a hard timeline yet for you, but we want to be able to start presenting again to the public sometime in the early spring. Ideally outside. On that grass that you showed a picture of.
Yeah, great.
But so just know that process is in the works, and that there's discussions, and at some point that decision will come to the council in terms of what the options are. And prior to that, we certainly have the information you would need to make, said decision if we be choosing firms or allocating those funds. So that's in the works. Other than that, we do know that, and Chad is not here, but the final design and engineering for the boat launch has been completed. Anything more to comment on that? And
Nothing right now. We're in a position. We just need to look at some more funding, and we'll be looking at between now and the fall to see where we're at. So more to come on that.
Any questions
So
on
the
that?
earliest that we would be under construction would be essentially a year from now. It's
Yes,
looking that way.
correct.
Yeah.
We could, in theory, if you bid it January 1st or December something, you would have a spring let build it in 27.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Under the, what does the umbrella riverfront development cover? Is an appropriate place to speak about any land the city owns along the river, or is this limited to the right down there? Any other projects or development don't come under that umbrella?
Really good question. So I think when we talk about it, and I mean, we can expand it, certainly, but when we talk about riverfront development, is typically contained to that area where the boat launch, and then there's three other areas, basically from South Liberty Street, the Point Park, or Point Breeze Point landing area, all the way to the east, where the pump station is, right?
Street to Langdon Drive.
So that area, and then up to Pennsylvania Avenue's general footprint there. is commonly, when we're talking riverfront development that's kind of where it's contained for now.
Well, within that area, if it goes all the way up to the station there, a project I thought the city might consider is to get some organization on our property to start removing the what do you call it, Japanese knotweed, and the city could help with equipment if we could get volunteers to do the work. And within that stretch of land we've talked about, I know there are patches of this knotweed, and it just seemed like get some volunteer group, if we could support a volunteer group that wanted to do it, whether it's, provide expertise, because I certainly don't know how you eradicate the stuff.
We spray, it's interesting you say the Japanese knotweed. The city sprays for Japanese knotweed every year at the Glade Run levee. And we also spray for Japanese knotweed for the large riprap stone that's in front of the wall that you see prior to that riverfront. So we're very cognizant of that, because the DEP is too as well, that you're not allowed to have weeds growing through that large riprap stone, because it makes that weaker once you leave the stone and go behind the old Oranger's building, where there's a little bit of knotweed through there. But we've had lots of discussions on those trees and the stabilization of that bank, and there's lots of things there that discussed over the years. One of the discussions over the years is to put a cantilever walkway behind there to upgrade the path, and that requires some bank stabilization, some other things. So.
Okay, question.
Related, I can't remember if I asked last month. I believe I did. Could we get an updated grant allocation?
You know what? And I do apologize. That report is done. So we'll email it out to everybody, so you don't have to wait till the next week.
That'd be great. I just think there's got to be some stuff floating out there that we can reallocate, right?
No, the funny part is we actually talked about that and spruced it up, and we didn't get it.
Appreciate it.
Email it out the next week or so. And I apologize. That's my bad.
I have a development adjacent question. I'm just gonna call it the Eagles Crest properties. I don't know what else we're gonna call it. Was there any response to the RPN ended last year? Are we gonna get an update on that?
High level answer. There was the redevelopment authority is working with a group that had an RFP. The RDA wrote a letter back asking for certain documents. And Randy's certainly, I'm speaking for Randy's here. The deadline for that, I believe, is this month, correct?
The group is coming to the February 25th RDA meeting, and been asked to provide the documents that they're requesting.
We're working right now with a group, see where that comes out.
What happens if they don't provide satisfactory documents at that meeting? Are they done?
The RDA will then have another discussion and tell the city staff what they're going to do next. I'll let Randy I'll see if Randy has a better answer.
No, it'll be entirely up to the RDA. What they've requested, I mean, some of the documents this is supposedly a nonprofit group, and the RDA has requested that they provide them with their organizational documents as to who's in the organization, what's the leadership for the organization, those type of things.
How
Okay.
exciting.
Any additional questions on that? Warren Works, any updates on Warren Works executive committee meeting last, or any other subcommittee meetings?
I'd like to just clarify a point that Danny had mentioned about mini grants. It's been talked about often at the chamber. 9 times out of 10, when somebody comes to our organization, they're looking for grants, free money, and that's very few and far between. So I've proposed and put together a proposal through the chamber's network of donors, and I'm on the agenda also for the RDA meeting on the 25th to talk about getting a countywide small business micro grant program where it's 100% grant proceeds to small businesses. There's criteria and a proposal that I've put together that outlines extensively what we're looking for, but hopefully getting maybe around $75,000 put together to then support small businesses in Warren County. But I'm meeting with the RDA to potentially request funding from them to help.
Good.
That was what Danny was talking about in regards to that. But other than what she had mentioned about Netta gave an update as far as the marketing blogs and websites. So
Maybe you do something similar with mini grants with the Weather Foundation. It's very similar.
yes, yep, and the Weller Foundation funnels through with the BCBA, and so we've been helping them. But yes,
It's been great. It's been a great help out there. So that's very exciting.
Active little group out there.
Yeah, they are.
Okay, any other questions or comment on any of the committee meeting update items? All right, any questions for department heads on their staff reports, Mr. Ball?
Not necessarily a question, but Chief Brigary, I know, I'm not sure if you were aware, but New Jersey did pass e-bike laws.
What?
New Jersey passed e-bike.
Oh, okay. I'm not up on that.
I mean, obviously we're still waiting for Pennsylvania, but that may or may not be the first domino to fall to try to get things.
Yeah, that'll get all stirred up as soon as the leaves are back. I'm assuming. Can't wait for that.
Well, at least something has happened and
Yeah, no,
it'll be an
good.
avenue.
I
a little bit.
have to say about e-bikes. I have a neighbor who that's his primary mode. He has been trucking it through this winter on this e-bike with the appropriate lighting and signaling, might I add, on his right of way. But those things can truck, and it's pretty impressive. Well, I know, but it's still. I mean, anyway, just food for thought.
Went down the street at 35 miles an hour and the
Yeah.
guy was trying to pass me.
Yeah, they go fast. They keep up with the lane of traffic.
And I'm in a 25-mile-an-hour speed zone, so just saying. Sorry, Chief, that I
No,
was
it's all
into that, but
I know it's
I
coming.
still find it interesting that I'm required by law to wear my seatbelt, but they're not required by law to wear a helmet. And they're going just as fast as I am. But that's not your problem, just saying.
it's still law.
All right,
I know.
any last minute questions or anything for the good of the group? Have a motion
to adjourn.
for,
Second.
okay. Motion. Meeting's adjourned.